Hi, welcome back to Balanced with Bailey and the official season 2 relaunch of our dream life. As you can see here, I'm not alone today. I'm so excited to share all the details with you and bring Izzy into the chat.
Hey everyone, it's me.
I'm so excited. Today we're going to be talking about the entire rebrand, the relaunch, our dream life, and how Izzy's been a huge part of it. I know our close circle knows, but for the majority of our community and our followers have no idea. So do you want to talk a little bit about what you've been doing behind the scenes, what your role is, how we got to this point, basically?
Yeah, let's get into all of it, truly. Bailey started this podcast about a year ago. She sent me a random text message that was like, I'm going to start a podcast. And I was like, oh yeah, maybe, probably. And then the next day she had like the microphone equipment ordered and it was plugged into her computer. She's like, oh, here's my first episode. And I was like, oh, how'd you even do all of that? So I've been watching Bailey closely for the last year. It also helps that we are best friends. But kind of halfway through last year, I was like, oh, Bailey, you're actually doing really well. We should leverage this a little bit more. And so my little business brain kicked in and I was like, how can we actually make this into something that's going to reach our audiences just a bit better? Mm-hmm. Like maybe improve the quality of the work that we were doing.
Yeah, because as you guys know, if you've been following along since the beginning, this started a year ago in my bedroom with a tripod. And here we are with professional quality and so much behind the scenes going on. It has been such an amazing journey. And I kind of got to the point when I was about to hit like the 8-month mark. I was like, I have been going through a lot of changes in my life. A lot of things have been changing. The podcast needs to change. We need a rebrand. So I wanted to take a pause and really think about strategically what I wanted, how it was going to impact our community. And I couldn't do any of that alone. So of course I had to bring in my long distance best friend, force her to move home and be a part of our business and a business partner. It's so exciting to work with someone that you're so close with because you can fight and bicker, but at the end of the day, we both know that we have each other's best intentions and just like the most genuine hearts going into it. And it's so much fun to get to do something you're so passionate about with someone you love so dearly. And now she's moving back to Boise. So this is her like official statement. She's coming back. You didn't know.
This is my hard launch that I moved back to Boise. I was in Chicago for the last year and we can get into a little bit more of my story another time. But yeah, I'm back in Boise.
Yeah.
And we're Boise with Bailey.
All the B's. Balanced, Boise, Bailey.
Balanced, Boise, Bailey.
All of the above.
All of it.
So getting into the details of the relaunch, I know I've been breadcrumbing you for months and I'm sorry, but there were so many things going on. So starting off with Balanced, we have the podcast and we took a break. We took the pause. I really sat with it on what I wanted to do, what media, what I wanted it to look like moving forward. And I think we have it pretty nailed down.
We've upped the production. Thank you to SB Studios for working with us.
Yes. And we'll have high quality video for everyone to watch. Our listening quality is just professional and better. And it's not me, again, in my bedroom with a tripod. So we're moving up. It's going to be great. And that will take a huge load off of me personally, just having to edit and reframe and do everything on my own.
Because you are still a working nurse.
Yes. Contrary to popular belief, I've gotten a lot of questions lately. I am still a nurse, and I'll go deeper into that in a little bit. But we're doing that, and we're also starting partnering. So part of the reason that I really wanted to bring the podcast in studio is for our interviews and bringing on guests and different people, because I want to be able to have those casual, real, in-person conversations with some of the people that have been balancing and just creating their own ways in their own industries. And I think there's so many amazing people here in Boise that can come on the pod and bring new insights to completely different topics. So I think it's the perfect opportunity just to bring everyone face to face.
Yeah. We're going to be bringing some people together. We're going to bring our listeners together in 2026 a bit more often. So stay tuned for that. And so much to look forward to. But I think a big theme that brought us to this point was Bailey talking about the time of her life where she was like, I have to make a change in order to feel happy in my day-to-day life. And let's just talk a little bit more about that. Like what in your personal life kind of changed in order to make you able to be at this point?
So at the same time as in November timeframe-ish was the same time that I took a pause on the podcast. I honestly kind of took a pause in life in general. And I was like, what I'm doing isn't working. So I was a full-time night shift pediatric ICU nurse. So I was staying up 3 nights a week, working from 7 to 7 on top of all of the social media things, on top of Balanced and all of the fitness classes I was coaching, and it just wasn't working. There's no way that you can genuinely just not sleep that much and be so busy. So I decided to take a pause, and I switched my entire life. I quit my dream nursing job, which I thought I was going to work there forever. And I started a new job. So now a little update. I work 2 days a week as a circulating nurse. So I'm in the operating room. There's 2 operating rooms. There's an ENT, which is ear, nose, and throat. And then the other one is a plastic surgeon. So in between those 2, I am the nurse in the operating room who's not sterile. So I help move things around. I chart things, position the patient. So on a nursing front, something completely different than I've ever done before. And it was I'm so thankful for my manager because she really took a chance on me. I have no experience. I have ICU and babies, and now I'm doing mommy makeovers and tummy tucks, which honestly, I think it's a full circle.
Yeah.
But I started that job, started coaching Pilates, and really taking social media seriously full time. And that's when I realized I really wanted to make Balanced something amazing and the potential it had. So that's when we started chatting, and we officially made it official in New York, I would say.
Yeah.
A little bit about that weekend.
We had a little girls trip planned, and of course the girls trip never goes exactly how it was originally planned, but we ended up going with also our good friend Tanya, and that weekend just really inspired us to do all of this.
It was a very Sex in the City moment, I would say. It's 3 girls running around New York.
We had fur coats, we had our little slingback heels on, and we were just trotting around the streets.
And we're like, this is exactly the energy we need to bring into 2026 and bring to our community. Just being so authentically yourself, living your dream life, making those hard choices. Change is so unbelievably hard. But the second you do it and kind of get comfortable being uncomfortable with change, you realize how many amazing things happen. So we got together, we're like, okay, take a pause. Let's really work on the operations. And I feel like you can speak to that because I'm a nurse girly. I don't know anything about a spreadsheet. I tried to make a Google spreadsheet and it didn't go well. So,
and then this is where I entered the chat. I have like the business operating brain, but I also am a super big creative. I think my dance brain and just my brain is so creative that when Bailey needed a little bit of extra help, I like kind of just filled in the cracks really naturally. Mm-hmm. Like it didn't even feel like we had to like, okay, so this is Bailey's job and this will be my job and this is how we're going to do it. We just naturally flowed. We entered flow state really quickly, the 2 of us. Us, a computer, a couple coffees, and this is how we rebranded the entire Balanced brand. But yeah, I'm doing a bit more of the back end stuff. We're just here talking together today, but you won't be seeing my face every week as you will be seeing Bailey's. But
she'll be way more frequent now that she's not long distance.
I'm definitely around now.
Yeah, selfishly, I'm so excited. But it's going to be great things. Again, that's you stepping into your change.
Yeah.
And you moving into 2026.
Yes, this year was a big changing year for me as well. And that's when Bailey was making all those changes in her life here. As long distance friends, we were sitting on FaceTime like multiple times a week. And I was going through a lot in this big city all by myself with so many different occupational changes, relationship changes all happening at once. And I was kind of like forced to redefine what it is I actually want out of my life. Like, what is it in my day-to-day life do I want to be waking up and doing to feel the most fulfilled at the end of the day? Which is kind of a big thing.
She's growing.
It's kind of a heavy topic to unravel with yourself. But along the way, I'm definitely not at like a ending point. I haven't accomplished really the end of that story, but it does bring you a lot closer to yourself, which is a big purpose of all of it. But were you kind of aligned in that way? Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm excited for this journey with Balance with Bailey.
And the new year is the perfect time moving into 2026. I feel like the dream life, the dream thing, I feel like it's getting way, not necessarily the norm, but it's getting more popular to really step out and do what you want to do and pave your way. Like, if there's a norm, just going the complete opposite way, because why not? Someone can do it. I always joke, like, if you have the personality or the drive or the passion to do something, you're the reason it's like that, and you need to step out on your own and make a name for yourself and make those hard choices and get to do those things because you're going to feel so much more fulfilled once you get to that point.
Yeah, and no one's going to do it for you. No. That was the hardest part. I was in this big city. My whole family's in California. All of my friends that I went to college with were in Boise, and I'm literally in Illinois.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on? No one's coming to save you. And that's just like the biggest point we were both talking about. And as harsh as that sounds, it's also beautiful because you just get to do it yourself in any way that you want to because it's your life, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, you're not, like, don't live your life for someone else because then you're giving up the power of your own life and then you're wasting time that could be bringing you closer to the things that you actually want out of your life.
Exactly. And also realizing, like, once you find that confidence within yourself, who you surround yourself with means so much. It matters so much. I feel like I didn't really realize it until like post-grad because I'm 2 years, almost 3 years post-grad.
Yeah, and I'm almost 2 years post-grad.
That's been the biggest thing is like you get to choose who you surround yourself with, and those people who hype you up, build you up, push you to be your true authentic self is what is going to just improve your life in general so much versus just not surrounding yourself with the right people. And it's so hard to find those people. So that's kind of part of the reason we have been in talks with some of our favorite people, some of local creators, and we're going to start doing some events, not giving too much details away, but stay tuned for our first interview and our first event because we have some really fun things and exciting things coming in person so that you can start to build relationships with other like-minded people. All of you guys, all of the listeners, we all align in the same way, even though we're all so different, but being able to meet in person and do that versus just being an online community is going to be huge.
Yes. And also like making friends can be so hard post-grad because in college, everyone's like proximity, like all of your friends are very much out of who you're like just naturally around. And then post-grad, it's not like you're going to class with everyone on Tuesday, you know, like you have to be really intentional with the type of people you're spending time with. And those choices do definitely influence the trajectory of your life and how you handle things and how you, like, those are the people you're getting advice from. So if you wouldn't necessarily trade places with them in life, you probably shouldn't be receiving advice from them.
Exactly.
Because then they don't have your best interest at heart, which also brings us back to each other and how you sometimes have to just, like, put yourself out there in a situation you wouldn't necessarily put yourself into in order to meet those people. Do you want to talk a little bit about how we met?
Oh my gosh, yes.
I think this would be
I forget. Okay, so many years ago, I came to Boise State not knowing anyone for nursing school, and my roommate at the time was like, you need to join a sorority. And I was like, absolutely not. Like, I played sports growing up. I didn't know anything about sororities besides the South, and I'm just not very girly sometimes. So I was like, I don't really think that aligns with me and my well-being. But she convinced me, and I ended up joining a sorority my freshman year. My sophomore year, I went to take a little. If you guys aren't familiar with the sorority and fraternity life, you basically take on someone who's a year younger than you, and you kind of become a mentor and just like a best friend with. And a lot of people stay close with them or they don't. It just like it's someone to help you get used to college.
Right.
And my sophomore year, I met Izzy on Zoom because that was also COVID time.
It was 2020.
2020. So I met her on Zoom during recruitment, and I knew her recruitment leader, which, Panhellenic, don't come for me, but I was texting her leader and I was like, you need to convince this girl to join our sorority. Like, breaking all the rules already. If that doesn't foreshadow anything, me breaking the rules, getting her into the sorority, I was like, she has to be a part of it. And eventually became my little. If you want to talk about your point of view from meeting.
So I had gone to Boise State from Northern California, which is a little bit of a pipeline now, but back in 2020, not so many people were doing it, or like a couple people were, because I really wanted to be on a college dance team, and I didn't even know what that world was. So I went to Boise State, made that dance team, and then I also had some people being like sorority, fraternity life is a great way to meet people. You should try it. And I am a bit of a social butterfly. So I was like, of course, I'll do it. I'll go through the whole Zoom process. And I actually, the first person I talked to in the entire recruitment process was Bailey's Big at the time. Shout out Lauren. She had wet hair. She literally had wet hair. And we talked about In-N-Out French fries the entire time. And I was like, oh, this is the land of my people. This is the land of my people. And then now that I know that this was one big orchestrated plan to get me into the group, it all makes sense. And it was just like so meant to be. The Big Little process was definitely interesting because it's like speed dating. Like you're kind of going on little dates with these people that like want to be your big, and you're just trying to figure out who you mesh with. And at the end of the day, we were just like meant to be and had a really great time together in college. But we also like leaned on each other a lot, which is how we stayed so close, because college definitely is fun, but it's also hard and you go through a lot of different things in life. Like I remember when, I'm sorry to speak about this if you don't really want to, but when you didn't get into nursing school the first time, like I remember Bailey calling me and being like, I didn't get into nursing school. Like, should I transfer? What should I do? And we navigated that whole situation together. And now look at you and where you are now.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then I went through all those situations. Like I'm sure I've had like 15 breakups when dance practice was hard, or I didn't win the competition, or I failed a test. Like Bailey was always like my 911 call in college, which is like a testament to how the system works. So
and we've been together ever since. Even though we were asked nicely to leave our sorority,
we are no longer affiliated with Greek Life, but
yeah, one too many strikes, and here we are. But what, 5 years later, we're still best friends.
Yeah, and here we are running the show together
through all the chaos, and now business partners, which is like crazy to say, but so fun. Never thought we would end up here, but that just again shows when you find your people or know who you can lean on, hold them close, and those relationships mean everything.
And if you're listening to this and you're like, oh my gosh, maybe you just went through like a best friend breakup, which I would say are way worse than actual relationship breakups, or you're like, oh, I don't know, or maybe you're just feeling like a little bit of alone, is that like these transition times of isolation are crucial in your development, because it just gives you more time to get to know yourself. And when you get to know yourself better, then you start to attract people that are like you and are like giving off the same energy as you. And maybe there's someone on the edge of this little period that you're in that you didn't even know was going to enter your life. So stay hopeful and take the time to take care of yourself, so that when a good relationship comes your way, you're ready for it and you're not just being a little bit of an energy taker, and that you can actually be a positive member of the relationship.
That's also why we're here. That's why the Balance community is here, even though it is online, it is a platform, but we're here. We want it to be those genuine connections. If you don't have those people around you, join the group chat, join the Instagram. There's going to be events eventually. And getting into all of that is that there is a community. There are people out there that care. So making sure just to align with the right people. Yeah. And have your platforms, have your podcasts. Our DMs are open. I love a DM.
Our DMs are both open. Like you can DM Balance with Bailey. You can DM Bailey Nicole.
Don't worry, we both have
you can
the passwords.
Either way, like our lines are open, and you really are never alone. Truly, no matter how isolated you feel, there was always someone. And if you don't feel like there is, try us first.
And I feel like it's really easy to look at other people and be like, they have it all figured out. They've been through it. You have the platform or whatever. But we're truly here along with you, figuring it out. We're still girls in our 20s. We make mistakes. We figure out things, new things every week, every day. We still have no idea what we're doing. And in the grand scheme of things, no one has any idea what they're doing. So taking that pressure off of yourself to just be like, yeah, screw it, whatever. You made a mistake, you messed up, apologize and move on. If it's not going to matter, I always joke with Izzy. I always say, if it's not going to matter in 5 years, it's not going to matter for 5 minutes. It doesn't deserve that much of your time and your brain power and your thought process.
Yeah. And I'm working on adopting that. Yeah. I'm the friend where like I'm deeply emotional and I feel everything so deeply, and my emotions and feelings are at times the most important thing to me and kind of drive me, and I'm working on that. So when I'm talking to Bailey and she's like, oh, that doesn't even matter, like brush it off. It's not going to matter in 5 years. And I'm like, but it matters so much right now. And this is the most important thing happening in my life and la, la, la. But also on the contrary, I think I've helped you become a little bit more emotional along the way. Would you say so?
For sure. I think back to nursing, like as a nurse working in such an intense unit, I turned all of my emotions off for those 2 years. Like I hadn't even cried at a movie in how long. And just felt kind of numb. And during that pause, I was like, I have no emotions. I need to get back into like feeling something. And since then, you've always been my emotional friend in the best way. And getting to learn from you how to process things and actually think about things, not just pushing them aside or forgetting about them. And I cried at a movie. We went to a movie the other night. Guys, Eternity, so good. I cried the entire time. I think once I stopped crying, I started crying again because it was like even just showing like old people on the screen and I'm like bawling.
I know. That was huge for you.
It was
huge. It was a great movie, by the way.
That was my win of the week, honestly.
Okay, I like that. Your win of the week.
Mm-hmm. I cried at a movie. Who is she?
Yeah. My win of the week is moving to a new place successfully.
Yeah.
I am currently living in Bailey's bedroom.
We do need to get into this. Like, I wasn't going to bring it up, but since she brought it up first. So kind of explain your situation a little bit with the moving, just like how you're here and then home and then back and whatever. And then I'll tell my side.
Just my move, or should I give like a little bit of the story?
Whatever you want.
Okay. Well, the move will make more sense with a little bit more story. So obviously I went to Boise State and my main focus was dancing. I grew up a competitive dancer. And I just like am obsessed with dance. And so when I had a friend who had already danced at Boise State introduce me, I was like, oh, this is going to be a great program for me. And the whole realm is like very different than what I was used to, but it was a great experience for 4 years. And towards the end of my senior year, I was really burnt out. Like dance is probably the most toxic relationship I've ever had because I've like tried quitting 4 times and I can't stop. So I was kind of burnt out and ready to quit. And I had a mentor at the time be like, maybe you should try to go professional. And I never thought I was capable of being a professional dancer. Like my self-esteem was really low. I didn't really think I was capable of all the things that I've accomplished.
As you were the captain of your dance team that year in college. But anyways, yes, continue.
But it really does reflect on what I thought of myself at the time. Mm-hmm. And I had a mentor encourage me to try out for a professional dance team. And I remember I had like laid out a couple different locations I wanted to move to after college. I was like, Miami would be so fun. I'm like, I want a hotter location. I want city. I want something fun. And then my mentor was like, well, maybe you should give Chicago a try. I was like, Chicago? The Midwest? Like I had never heard anything about it. And I ended up submitting a video and flying out and making the team. And I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot pass this up. This is way too amazing of an opportunity. So then I packed up my little bags and moved to Chicago, not really knowing what was in store.
Or knowing anyone.
Or knowing really anyone. And you really pushed me to do it. And I'm really glad that I pushed myself out of the comfort zone and did that for a year and a half. I met so many amazing people. I learned so much about what the professional dance world in sports entertainment specifically is like, and was able to just kind of like redefine what it is I want out of life. And it was so fun. Like I loved dancing center court. I loved the spotlights. I loved the dances. I loved the costumes. I loved the people. But along the way, I was dealing with the consequences of some of my actions of the past. I broke my foot a couple times in college and didn't really take it too seriously. And then when I was dancing in heels, that kind of like caught up to me. So then I was dealing with the injury all over again, which if you've ever had an injury before and you're trying to remain athletic in any form, it's just so mentally difficult. And I ended up coming to the conclusion that I didn't feel like it was like the right spot for me anymore. And at that time, I had met my boyfriend at the time through that program. I had a friend who had set us up, and it was a really great relationship, honestly. Like I was like, this is someone that's for me. And I was going through the transition of that job, and he was going through the transition of his jobs. And I was just really trying to maneuver life alongside somebody else. And I love people really, really hard. So I was really willing to kind of just like forgo anything I wanted out of my life for someone else, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but it just wasn't the season I was being called into. And I ended up facing a major rejection in both areas of life. I last minute decided to I'm realizing I never talked about this publicly before, but last minute I decided to retry out for that same team. And I went through the whole audition process with my friends, and I was kind of coming back as a veteran, and I had gotten cut from the program. And that was so hard and like so embarrassing. Because it's hard to get rejected from anything, right? But if you're trying it for the first time, you're like, it's easier to be like, okay, well, maybe this isn't a good fit for me. I'll try something else. But I had already been a part of that program for a full season, and I had a really great season.
But you also decided the week before that you were going to try out again, when like people prep for this for months. Like professional dance tryouts, you have solos, you have combos they teach you, you think costumes. Like you literally decided the week before.
Yes. I was also facing the injury at the time.
Yeah.
But I had decided, I was like, when in doubt, let's just like see it through. And I went contrary to like what my intuition was telling me and what my inner circle was telling me to do. And at the end of the day, like the answer was the same if I tried out or not. But I faced that rejection, which revealed a lot about myself. And then I just like really spent the summer like rediscovering myself. I like cut my hair on vacation. I traveled the world. I just like really took some time with myself. And then my relationship ended up going separate ways. And that was just like super hard for me. And it still really is. Because when I love people, it's hard for me to let them go. And somewhere along the way, I spent about like 3 months alone in my apartment in Chicago. I didn't have a roommate. It was really just
Starting to get cold.
It was getting really dark, really cold. It was just me and my cat in this big apartment. And I had worked at a fitness studio at that time. It really taught me a lot about like self-connection and growing into your best, most confident self. And during that time, I like rewrote all of my values, rewrote my morals, rewrote my values, rediscovered like who I am, what I want out of life. And I quickly realized like I love a slower paced life. Like the city was so fun and it's so like city girl and something people dream of. But I was like, I want to go outside and touch grass. And I love the mountains and I love snowboarding. And I want to go for a walk with my best friend. And I want to pour into some of these businesses that I didn't even realize could be a career opportunity. So, and I want to be close to my family. I have a 20-year-old sister who I just want to be close by and I want to see more often. So I made the decision to relocate after 3 or 4 really hard months, just kind of by myself. But I would not trade those months for the world. Like I think I did some of my most growing during that time. And here I am, I'm back. But that move is also not an easy thing to do because it can feel like stepping backwards. But I have the support of Bailey. I have the support of some people I met in college that I wouldn't be able to do this without. Like I quite literally was calling Bailey because my space isn't ready for me to move into yet because of all my furniture. And I was like, Bailey, like I need a place to stay for a week. I have a cat though. Like, can we come? And Bailey like opened up her whole house to me with her roommate. So we've been sharing a bed for the week and it's been so great. But
it literally feels like camp. It feels like a sleepover. And then my other roommate has a cat, so her cat's been in my room with us basically. So like waking up, I'm like, oh, it's time to get up. I roll over. There's Izzy and the cat. I'm like, good morning.
Yeah, it's not even just like me and my suitcase. It's me, my suitcases.
But it's so fun.
Cat.
Honestly, it feels like camp.
It's so fun. It actually, you said it last night before we went to bed that it reminded you of the time where we spent 3 weeks in Europe. And we'll tell that in a story time episode.
Yes.
In the future. But
yes,
that's a little bit of my story and how I ended up here. And I love serving people. So my whole like anthem for this next year is like stepping into my dream life. But my dream is kind of just serving other people.
Yeah. And I love the growth. I feel like going into 2026, it's such a 2025 was such a shedding year for everyone. And I think there was so much self-growth across the board with everyone I've talked to, honestly. So I'm so excited for everyone to step into 2026 with a new clean slate, new habits, new routines, like new everything. And selfishly, I've been loving you staying because it's so fun getting to have a sleepover every night and sharing a closet. In college, we had a mega closet.
Right.
So all of our clothes basically was kind of like interchangeable between the two closets. So when she moved to Chicago, we had to have a divorce and we would bid on clothes that we got to keep, like the pieces we really wanted versus the things we were like, okay, you can keep the jeans for 6 months. So I'm very excited for the wardrobe to be whole again.
I'm also very excited to have multiple closet options.
Yes. So much fun. But there's going to be so many amazing things coming. Yeah. And I'm just so excited for what it holds. Again, we're figuring all of this out with you along the way.
And we have so much fun stuff in store for 2026. We are so excited to connect with you guys more. I will be a bit more behind the scenes, but Bailey has so many people she's going to bring onto the show and just we're going to walk through life together. Is
Exactly.
really what we're going to be doing at the end of the day here. And
that's what the platform's for. We're figuring it all out together. We're going to talk it through each week, share the ups and downs, real life, how we're building it, all of the behind the scenes, because there's so much you don't see and don't know. So we're so excited to share more as time goes on.
we are so excited to have you alongside this journey as we both grow individually. We're excited to help you guys become your most confident and most balanced selves.
Love.
And yeah.
We will see you all next week. Plan on it. Every Wednesday, we're dropping. I'm serious. It's happening. Each week is going to be a little bit different, so stay tuned for all those surprises. But
yeah, we will actually, we also have some fun trips coming up that we're going to take you guys along. So we are going to be across all platforms. So prepare to be a little sick of us and let us know what you want to see as well. Yeah?
Yep. So we'll see y'all soon. We love you. Bye.